It's been revealed that the Department of Work and Pensions is investigating whether its own policies contributed to a rise in demand for food banks. A Guardian investigation uncovered a 4-page document referring to the inquiry. Latest estimates from charity the Trussell Trust suggest almost 700,000 people have used a food bank in the last year. Critics have warned that government policies, such as universal credit, drive up demand, but the DWP insists it is committed to supporting those in need.
As we have said previously, we are currently reviewing research carried out by organisations to add to our understanding of food bank use, and will consider further research to add to our evidence base, to ensure we're providing the best possible support for vulnerable groups.
Meanwhile, a study from the University of Warwick has found that the government's austerity policies have boosted support for UKIP and for leaving the EU. It claims that the policies led to anti-establishment feeling among those worst affected, which was used by UKIP. Between the beginning of the coalition government in 2010 and 2015, support for the party increased by almost 50% in some areas. The report also suggests that if the austerity measures weren't in place, the Brexit referendum could have seen a 10% swing in favour of Remain. Well, this report comes as the EU's top negotiator says Theresa May's current Brexit proposals are a threat to the bloc's future. To talk about all of this, I'm now joined by UKIP MEP for the East Midlands, Margot Parker. Margot, hello to you.
Hello. This
new report's spot on, isn't it? If not for austerity, there would have been no UKIP and no Brexit.
Nonsense. There's always going to be a UKIP because actually for 23, 24, 25 years we fought very much so that people could have their say, have the referendum. We were denied it in Maastricht, which was of course the Tory party, and denied it when Labour were in government, and of course that was the Lisbon Treaty and that was Gordon Brown. So people built up an expectation of having one day the opportunity to have their say. They had their say, they voted, they haven't changed their mind. As I travel around the country and talk to people, they're even more adamant, and when they see the behaviour of the Commission and the bullying, the unpleasantness, the difficulties, and they see our weak government and our extremely weak Prime Minister actually needs a lesson in how to negotiate. So unfortunately this lady is really not a negotiator, and she says she's taken control of it. Well, frankly, that's terrifying.
You're talking about people having the chance to have their say, but exactly having their say on what? Wouldn't it be better for UKIP to acknowledge that poverty and injustice among the working classes really fuel the support for UKIP and the Leave vote? Better than you lot, of course, being accused of whipping up a fear of immigrants and for the party to be seen as a saviour of the people rather than stoking xenophobia.
No, that's absolute nonsense. At the end of the day, I'll take you back to 2012 and a by-election I stood in, and one of the doors that I knocked on, a chap aged 40 said, I've lost my job, I'm 40, I can't pay my mortgage, I have a job in the local food factory, I did. My son's 17, he can't get a job in the food factory, he would have normally been able to get that, because he recognised, of course, huge numbers of Eastern European cheap labour, unskilled labour, came into the country, and the jobs were condensed down, so the maximum wage became the minimum wage. So of course he had no chance. So who was he going to blame for that? He was going to blame really opening the gates when Tony Blair said, oh no, only about 13,000 people are going to come here, that'll be fine. Well, it wasn't. And of course it has continued to be a problem with how do you know how to build enough houses? You don't. How do you manage to have enough schools and the classes reasonable so you can get your child into the school of your choice? How do you manage the NHS when the numbers are constantly swelling? It's a massive problem that has not been recognised properly, and it should be. So it's got nothing to do with racism or anything like that. That's just a ruse put about by people that don't want to have the discussion.
But all those problems about not paying the mortgage and losing the job, all those problems are looming once again, aren't they, thanks to Brexit? We're seeing interest rates going up today. Mark Carney, he's preparing for us to crash out, meaning sky-high inflation, more economic woes for the country. People are seriously worried about the economic impact of Brexit.
Let me stop you. When the media, and that's you guys as well, use the word crash out, what a nonsense statement that is. You leave, and you leave under WTO WTO rules. You don't crash out. It's quite orderly. We deal already in WTO rules all over the world with other countries. There's no such thing as crashing out. This could and will be orderly. We wanted an agreement, of course we did. We were looking to our government to be able to get an agreement. But the intransigence of the EU meant really it's going to be very difficult, and the incompetence, I have to tell you, of the present government in trying to get a decent deal is breathtaking. So those are the real issues that people have got fed up with. You know, there's only so many jobs to go around, but nevertheless, you remember the pound was going to crash, everything was going to be diabolical, people were going to leave, 250,000 jobs from the city. Well, I think they amended that to 5,000 just a couple of days ago. So we're into phase 2 of scaremongering.